Hello everyone and welcome to Shauna Stitches, episode number 34. Today is April 15th, 2018, and it's about noon, I think. I'm coming to you from the Oregon coast, Pacific Northwest area, and it's been doing nothing but raining lately. So luckily, finally, the rain has stopped, although it's not particularly sunny. So hopefully everything will be bright enough for you to see. In case it wasn't obvious, I am Shauna, and this is my podcast about knitting and all other kinds of crafty things that I get myself into. Today is mostly going to be knitting, though. Welcome to new viewers, and welcome back to returning viewers. I'm always so happy to see you guys checking in, making comments, and I love to read your comments and replies. So if you have anything to say, look in the down bar below, leave me a comment. On that same note, show note links will be down below also. I've created a blog over at wordpress.com, and there will be more detailed show notes there. They also link to my Ravelry page where any other information you might want to find should be there. Again, any questions, always leave me comments, ask me questions. I will be more than glad to answer. Okay, so I have two giveaways to announce. Two different designers have gifted me their patterns to give away to you guys, which is super exciting. The first one is a 4-pattern sock club by Lily of Nordic Stitches. She has gifted me a set of the patterns and also a set for you guys to win. So this pattern collection is going to come out every other Friday in May and June, so a total of 4, and her knit along for these patterns is going to go through the end of July, and it's the Summer Shorties collection, I believe is what it's called. I will insert a little teaser photo that she's put up. It doesn't show any of the patterns, just the colors that she chose, and also a link down below or in the show notes where you can check out more information. If you would like to win this shorty sock collection pattern, leave me a comment below on YouTube and tell me what your favorite sock pattern is that you've ever knit. And if you've never knit a sock, tell me what pattern you would like to knit the most. Okay, so thank you very much, Lily. That is so appreciated, and I know everyone watching who enters is going to be so excited to win. The second pattern is the cowl that I showed on my last podcast, and that is the Only Way Is Up cowl by Naomi Buchanan, who is Cozy Cute Knits. Thank you, Naomi, for gifting this pattern. I will insert both her photo and the photo of my finished object for you guys to take a look. It is a super simple cowl pattern, knit up very fast, and it adds some texture, some lace, and some little bobbly kind of stitches. Really fun to knit up, really nice to wear, super cozy. So if you guys want to win that, leave me a comment below and tell me what your favorite yarn you've ever knit with is. So if you had just one yarn, your, island yarn, right? What do they call it? You know what I'm talking about, right? If you're stranded on a desert island, that yarn. What you would want to knit with for the rest of your life because you had nothing else. So if you guys want to enter both, please leave me 2 separate comments so I can keep it all separate. Because I will be doing it, probably a manual drawing, just putting people's names on paper and drawing them out of something because that's the way I like to do it. So, excuse me. So those are both of the patterns that have been gifted to the podcast. Good luck, you guys, and tell me your favorite sock patterns and your favorite yarns because I want to know. I'm drinking green tea out of my I Love Coffee mug today. That's fitting, right? Oh, so I have so much to show you guys because it's been 2 weeks since I last podcasted, and sometimes it feels like I can barely scrape enough to get by to talk to you guys, and then other times it's just a lot. So this week it's a lot, and I had every intention of podcasting last week, but some unforeseen issues happened, which I will talk about later, and I will tell you why that didn't happen. So, obviously, elephant in the room, I finished my swag. I love it. Absolutely love it. There you go. I think you guys can see it pretty well there. But, yeah, so I used Knit Picks Chroma Twist is the greenish color for the main part, and Quince & Co. Turn, I believe. It's the one with silk, is the blue color here for the lace motif. And I absolutely love this silk yarn. It is so nice to knit with. I was reminded of that when I was putting it in some scrappy projects. And surprisingly, the Knit Picks Chroma Twist is really nice, you guys. I'm super sad that they are discontinuing this yarn, but it is on sale right now. So for $6.99 for a 100-gram ball, I sound like an advertisement, huh? $6.99 on Knit Picks site right now. You can get Chroma Twist yarn. It would be great for socks, but I really do like it for the sweaters as well. It gives me sort of a different look from a lot of people, and God knows I'm different, so. Anyway, if I had to knit this sweater all over again, I would knit it a size larger. I didn't aggressively block this, and I'm sure I could, although I think the lace looks perfect the way it is. And it definitely fits, but I would also add probably between 1 and 2 inches. And I don't dislike where it falls on me at all, but I just feel like maybe a little bit longer I would like it better. You know, down here maybe. Yeah, I like that better. And I'm not a short person. I'm close to 6 feet tall, so even adding the little bit that I did, I just feel like I could have added some more, so it's okay. I like it. It's still the best sweater I've ever knit in my life. It's absolutely gorgeous, and if my shrinking trend continues, this will fit a little bit bigger on me soon, hopefully. Alright, so that is my first finished object. I have a total of 4 today, guys. It's amazing. Alright, finished object number 2 is an oldie but goodie. These are Glenn's blazer socks. So these were supposed to be for his birthday in November of 2017. And in case you guys forgot, it is April of 2018, and I finally finished these socks. For his birthday, I originally gifted him this one sock, and I was like, oh yeah, your other one will be done real soon. But that didn't happen, because here it is. If you notice, there is a slight difference in the 2 socks. This has just a regular Fish Lips Kiss heel, and this one has a Fish Lips Kiss but with Mina's heel flap adjustment, or mini heel flap adjustment. So you can see there's actually a small little gusset there. He's tried them both on and hasn't actually worn them for a whole day, but just trying them on says that he definitely prefers the heel flap adjustment. And I would have to say I feel the same way. I kind of thought that he was being a little dramatic about needing extra room because he doesn't have a high arch like I do, but he does have pretty wide feet, and it seems to make a difference. So hopefully they won't slip down. I do think this is the first pair of plain vanilla socks I've ever knit him, so I'm curious to see what he thinks about that too, because obviously something with a pattern, especially his favorite is blueberry waffles, that's gonna give you a lot, you know, snugger fit. So hopefully he likes those. I know he likes the theme behind them, which is the Portland Trail Blazers, our most local basketball team. We grew up loving them, so that's our team. It's really like the only team that Oregon really has. We don't have football, we don't have baseball. I guess we have soccer, but I'm not into soccer. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast. All right, 2 more to go. Next up is the baby antler cardigan. Isn't it so cute? Look how tiny it is. So cute. I just sewed the buttons on this morning. It's not perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. Actually, the knitting is perfect. I don't love the band. Doesn't seem to be perfectly lined up. And again, I did not aggressively block this. In fact, I only steam blocked it, but it's for a little baby. I think it'll be fine. This is knit in Knit Picks Bravo Worsted, which is a acrylic yarn, but it's super soft, you guys. Not squeaky, very nice. It shows a good stitch definition, especially for an acrylic. It's the Antler Cardigan pattern by Tin Can Knits, if I didn't tell you that already. And this is in the Solstice Heather colorway, I do believe. It's just like a royal blue with black buttons in the 6 to 12 month size. Because the baby for my friends is due, yeah, not my baby. The baby for my friends is due in July. So I figured that that would mean that 6 to 12 months should fit right about the time that it starts to get cold, I hope. It's always kind of cold here, so it should be okay. Anyway, that is finished, and that will be gifted soon. And of course, if you have a baby antler cardigan, you have to have the baby antler hat. So this is, again, the exact same pattern, same yarn, same everything, just baby size. So I actually think that they have I think they have newborn and then child. So this is the child size. Because once again, I would like him to actually be able to wear the hat when it is cold enough. I didn't block this at all because heads will block it just fine. I didn't want to too aggressively block it, but I think it's going to be great. Alright, so that was my 4 finished objects. I have a hoe. Can you believe it, you guys? I'm actually knitting socks. It's really amazing. There's my hoe. It is covered in dog hair. It is the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern, which I have never knit for myself, ever. The first pair of socks I ever knit for Glenn, which was literally not long after we started dating, was the Hermione's, because I knew it was kind of a tried and true go-to pattern, and he likes those socks. They're not his absolute favorite, but he does really like them. And I just was doing so many different sock pattern clubs and stuff that I never knit a pair until now. The yarn is Ice Yarns, is it Magic Sock? Super Sock. It's Ice Yarn Super Sock, which is this self-striping pattern. Really, for commercial yarn, it is super sturdy. It's definitely one of my favorites. I love the different colors. They're kind of crazy. One reason that I chose this to be Hermione's is because you have the burgundy and the yellow, along with the pink and stuff. So it felt very Gryffindor to me. I did use the Mina's Mini Heel Flap Adjustment with a garter stitch. I do believe I did use her, in fact I know I did, I used her German short or heel on this. And what else to say? 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars, 20 rounds of the cuff, I think 90 rounds of the leg, the heel, the mini flap, and I think it took about 90 rounds for the foot up to the toe, which is the rounded toe that Dynamite, Trujillo, Squirrel Pie Productions, Tommy, if you guys know who that is. You should know who that is because she's amazing. It's her toe from her Pandora socks, which I love. It does I guess it's called a rounded toe, but it does a decrease every so often until you get to a couple stitches at the end, which you Kitchener. I really like that toe. It does look a little funky when you're not wearing it, but once it's on your foot, it fits great, at least for me. Alright, so that is my only hoe. I have started the second sock, which is right here, and nothing too exciting to say about that one, really. It's just the partner. I did use because I always use long tail cast on, which I do really loosely for the cuff. Works perfectly for me, always super stretchy. But this time I decided to use the trick where you take your outside yarn and your inside yarn to do the cast on. So it made this one little funky yellow line at the top. I don't really care because no one sees the top of my socks, but if you do care and you have a self-striping and the outside and the inside are not the same color, it will look a little funky. This is how my other one looks, which was just a regular long tail. But I'm telling you, pulling from the inside and the outside is so nice because you don't have to pre-measure your yarn. It just, when you're done casting on, you cut one and you're good to go. Keep knitting. I really do like the technique. I probably will continue to do it even if it looks like this. I don't really care. So that's that. Here's what the yarn looks like all caked up. I'm very excited to have these done. I totally feel like I'm getting my sock mojo back, you guys. It's been gone for a while. And I'm looking forward to doing Lily's shorty sock patterns. I don't really knit a lot of shorty socks for myself, mostly because I don't end up wearing those socks to work, and that's 5 days a week. That's what I'm doing. But I know I can always knit them taller if I want. I don't think there's any rules against that. But I may stick to shorties. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to check them out in any way. I feel like I'm talking really fast because I'm going through my stuff like this. I thought this was going to be the longest podcast ever because I started writing up my show notes and they're pretty long. But this is going quickly, so not bad, guys. All right. Next up, I have some scrappy projects. Because when I finish a couple of projects, I do like to get the scrappy bits in as soon as possible so that, I'm trying to figure out which way is up here, so that I can sort of put that yarn aside, not worry about it, or put it into my granny stripe, which hasn't happened yet. So this is my Cozy Memories blanket. It's getting quite big. I added in these three squares, which if you remember, this is from my Scrappy Bias shawl that I knit for my coworker. These are both obviously from Zwag. And these three are from both my Only Way Is Up cowl and also my Half Moon Oracle shawl. I still love this color. I tell you guys that every stinking time. But it's so fun to knit with. So pretty. And these three all have sparkle. Which I thought was kind of crazy because I don't have a lot of sparkle in my blanket. But this one right diagonal here, this little rainbow looking one, is also sparkle. Not that you can tell on screen too much, but anyway, lots of sparkle. I don't know how many squares I have on here just yet, but I could count. That seems like work. It's not huge. I guess it almost kind of wraps around me. It'd be a good lap blanket size right now. In fact, I think I'm going to leave it on my lap because it's a little cold in here. I normally keep the door to my yarn palace closed, except for when I'm podcasting because the dogs don't really bother with it, but I'll run my Roomba a lot, and you guys know the horror story of my Roomba and my Zwag. It does not get along with yarn, so if there's anything even dangling to the floor, it's going to eat it, and it's not pretty, so that's not going to happen. Anyway, so the heat doesn't really get in here. Okay, second scrappy item is a almost finished pinwheel scrap blanket square by Mina Phillip. I just have to do one more triangle and put them together. You know what I'm saying, right? Anyway, to make it square. So I will probably do this right away because I wanted to actually finish this before I podcast, but that didn't work out. So I'll probably take the inside strand of the Hermione's Everyday Sock yarn that I'm using and just knit the last one and put that together. So that will be done today, I believe. And I really meant to get those yarns that are left over into my granny stripe, but it just hasn't happened for a couple of reasons, I guess. Mostly time, but it will happen. I feel like that one works up faster than like knitting, so I don't stress out about that one as much. Not that I really stress out about any of my scrap blankets because they're long term. They're just, it's going to take a while to make much progress on those. Alright, so next up I have 2 items that I have decided to frog. Because as you know, this year I've really been trying to focus on clearing out all my whips, whether I finish them or frog them or whatever. They need to be done. Except for the scrappy blankets, those are going to stick around. Because I just got way too many items on the needles. This one makes me a little sad because I really do love these, but my Marled Mania leggings are going to get frogged. And that's for a couple reasons. One, like I told you earlier, I have been losing some weight. So since the time that I started knitting these, I know that I'm smaller than what I was making these for. So it feels really counterproductive to keep making these the same size for something I'm not going to use till next fall or winter. And they're just going to be too big, I think. Even with the drawstring waistband, there's just going to be too much fabric. So that, along with the fact that my magic knot balls, or magic knots in my magic knot balls were coming undone, it would just feel better if I frog this. And probably when I do this again, I'm either going to use a worsted weight yarn, all one color, or more likely hold 2 strands of fingering together, probably full balls. And I'm not necessarily going to make them match. As I told you before, I don't plan on really wearing these like with a skirt or a dress or anything. These are mostly going to be to wear under jeans when I'm walking my dogs to keep warm. So, yeah, it's kind of sad because I got far, but I don't want to knit something that's just gonna, the knots are going to fall apart as soon as I wear it one time, because that would be even more sad, and I don't want to knit something that isn't going to fit me. So that's going to get frogged, but the exciting part about that is that I will be able to put all of this yarn into my granny stripe blanket, which is what it was originally set aside for, so I'm happy about that. The other thing, which has seen no love, and it looks like it's in the middle of a round here, that's going to get frogged, is my Frozen shawl by Lily of Nordic Stitches. No, Lily, if you're watching, it has nothing to do with your pattern. It just has to do with what I said before about how I'm just really not into shawls lately. And now that I look at this and feel this, it's so soft. I mean, I would love to keep going, but I'm not very far. I think maybe clue 2 out of 4 or 5 clues, and yeah. If I want to knit it again later, I will knit it again later. But right now, that's going to be frogged. So, I think that takes me down to, I don't know how many whips, all socks except for 1 sweater, which is also going to be something that I'm going to pick back up and focus on. If I can remember, I mean, you see I barely started this, it really wouldn't hurt my feelings to rip this out and start over if I had to. But this was the flax sweater that I was knitting for my nephew. I didn't get very far. Out of the Sweet Roll yarn, which is by Premier Yarns. And the color is, I don't know, Black Pepper Swirl. So anyway, it was in the 4 to 6 size. He's 4. It looks like the shoulders are actually here. I'm showing this all funky. There we go. Anyway, not very far. I am going to pick that back up and get it done so that it's not like looming over my head. Does anyone else feel that way? I don't know. I really definitely am getting to the point of not putting projects aside for a long time, because like that, it's so hard to figure out where you left off and your motivation just kind of goes by the wayside. So it stinks. Alright, so future knitting is ridiculous today, guys, because we were at Joann's yesterday picking out buttons for the antler cardigan, the little baby one that I finished, and Glenn said something about how he would like a sweater or a cardigan or something, and I was like, I asked you before and you said you didn't ever want me to knit you one. And he's like, well, I kind of want one now. So our Joann's has like no selection whatsoever. The only wool that they actually have other than a couple skeins of stock yarn, which obviously would not work for a worsted weight cardigan, is the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. And they had a nice brown color, and I thought that'd be good. And at the time, I'm thinking, I'm going to knit him the Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits, you know, nothing crazy. Well, then I got home, and I started looking at patterns, and holy moly, I found, like, the mother of all patterns. It's rated 5 out of 5 difficulty. I might be biting off more than I can chew, but it's just so beautiful. I really do want to make it, and I might not actually give it to him. It's not true, but I just might wear it all the time. The pattern is the Timberline Cardigan by Jared Flood for Brooklyn Tweed. No, Brooklyn? Yeah, Brooklyn Tweed. You know what I'm talking about, right? I have the pattern right here. Let me see. I don't know. It's not telling me. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to give any of the pattern away. Not that you could figure it out if I just flash it, because I have tried to figure this out and it's tough. There's the pattern. I didn't print any of just the picture pages. It is in depth. I mentioned before that on this Zwag, I couldn't figure out how to swatch. And so I haven't even got the yarn yet. I just ordered it this morning. I ordered Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. They're non-superwash, and I think it's the onyx color. It's a dark gray, and it will look fabulous. If I haven't already shown you a picture of what it looks like, it will be up here because you have to see it to believe it. It's amazing looking. The funny thing about it is I don't love cables. Like, I don't hate cables, but this is going to be interesting. I don't think I will be working on this nonstop, although I may have to in order to not forget what I'm doing, if I can figure out what I'm doing. I looked at project notes on Ravelry extensively, and people seem to say that their gauge varies greatly from what's suggested in the pattern. So I have to definitely do a gauge swatch, and it's a cabled gauge swatch. So I hope I have, I've read through the pattern and looked at the charts and all that. I hope I figured it out. Obviously, once I have the yarn in hand and can actually physically do it, it will be more obvious if I have figured out what I need to do for the gauge swatch. But I'm really super excited to get it started. It's an interesting construction for me because I've never knit anything like this, and it is, you knit the sleeves all the way, and then you knit the entire body, but it's knit flat, and then you piece it together, and I think lastly you add the shawl collar, but I might be wrong about that part. So anyway, yeah. If any of you have any advice or great websites to go to for things like that, I did find some good tutorials for swatching on the Brooklyn Tweed website, which is really good because I need all the help I can get. But I'm excited to try it. I love to challenge myself, and this is definitely going to be a challenge. I'm already thinking, like, I would love to do one for myself, but that's probably ridiculous. Anyway, let me tell you again why I didn't podcast, or for the first time really, why I didn't podcast last weekend and show you my lovely sweater, because it was ready to go. And that's because Friday night I went to bed, and about 2 hours into my sleep I woke up and my right leg, like in my hip area, hurt so bad. I didn't know why. I just thought I slept wrong. So I fell back asleep, and by 5 o'clock that morning, you know, after tossing and turning all night, just not sleeping well, I woke up and it was so painful I couldn't sleep anymore. But still, because I hadn't done anything, hadn't worked out like crazy, hadn't slipped and fall, hadn't run into anything, no reason. I just assumed I slept wrong. So I waited till about noon, and the pain was just getting worse. So I told Glenn, I was like, I gotta go to urgent care, because of course it's Saturday. It could never happen on a day where you could actually get into the regular doctor. So he drove me because it's my right leg, I can't even drive. And the doctor told me that it was my sciatica, which I knew that ran down from like the butt cheek down, but I didn't realize it could run along the side of your hip also. And she seemed to think that it had something to do with my work setup, how I sit at work and what I'm sitting on and that sort of thing. So she sent me home with some muscle relaxers and said, you know, prop your leg up, rest, don't do basically anything. And she gave me a note not to come back to work until Wednesday. So that's why I have so much knitting, because I had so much time. But I couldn't podcast because I was in pain and it would not have been a good thing. So that night I take a muscle relaxer before going to bed and I go lay down and I'm in so much pain that I can't sleep. I can't move. Like literally to turn over in bed was completely excruciating. I couldn't walk. I had to like drag my leg. It was horrible. Never had anything like that in my life. And so I got up and I took a second muscle relaxer and decided I would try and sleep on the couch because I knew I was keeping Glenn up. So wait about another hour and I finally go take a sleeping pill because I still can't sleep. I'm still in pain. Like I'm actually crying at this point, crying in pain. I don't remember the last time I've cried in pain. It's been, I don't know. I can't even tell you because I don't remember. It's not something that happens often. Maybe not even in my adult life. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been a long time. So I finally go wake up Glenn and I'm like crying, and then he starts freaking out because I mean, I'm sure he knew why I was crying, but you know, he doesn't really know what's going on. So he drove me to the emergency room where they gave me a shot of Toradol, which is something that helps inflammation. And they gave me some painkillers and other stuff. So I was literally from that shot, because that's all I had at the emergency room was just the shot, and they gave me the other stuff to bring home. I was almost falling asleep in the car, which was a huge change from the fact that, because I kind of have like bucket seats, so every time we'd go over the smallest bump or take a corner, it would press right into the part of my leg that was killing me. So on the way there, it was excruciating, and on the way home, I was almost falling asleep. That's how great this shot was. Still in pain, but better. So I was able to kind of sleep that night, and then yeah, I had to really just sit on my butt for several days, and so I knit a lot, and I started doing some yoga specifically for that area of the body to stretch it out, and it is feeling better. I can definitely still feel it, and from favoring the right leg so much, now the left leg kind of hurts, maybe even more than the right leg now, so getting old stinks, guys. But anyway, I think I am on the mend. That being said, I really miss having more often days off. Like I've told you guys, mostly just having the weekends off now, and I would rather work the 12-hour shift that I used to work and have more frequent days off than work the 8-hour shift that I work now more often. Because I just feel like I get more done, but it is what it is. I think that is the majority of the life stuff and the majority of everything else. So I'm probably forgetting something, and if so, I guess I'll just pop back on, but that's all I can think of for now, guys. So I hope that you are enjoying your knitting and having a good time. Please remember to leave me a comment for your favorite sock pattern for that, and or leave me a comment for your favorite yarn if you're interested in winning the Only Way Is Up cowl. Alright guys, I hope you're having a great day. I will draw for those the next time I podcast. Bye!